the 15th of March 2020. My name is Odon Bulamba. I'm going to present to you this program for the next few minutes. Today we are going to talk about the coronavirus, and our first topic will be quarantined people complain of isolation. So without wasting time, let us jump into this topic. People quarantined in Bandalungwa, commune, here we in Kinshasa, on Tshanga Avenue, complain about the conditions under which this isolation is being carried out. Mr. Bukolo, the public prosecutor in Lubumbashi, who was in Kinshasa, also found himself in this group of people deprived of exit. He and those who live there say they respect this decision out of simple conscience. He said, "On Monday, we were told you are in quarantine and you do not go out. We disinfected between Tuesday and Wednesday. We promised masks and nothing has been done. It was only at around 1 p.m. on Thursday that we saw the chief medical officer of the Bandalungwa community who passed by. But I was very disappointed by the amateurism that characterizes this team. They took the temperature and asked routine questions. Today, the one who passed did not have machines or tools to collect data or temperature. He said his machine wasn't working." That was a message of Mr. Bukolo in Bandalungwa, Kinshasa. He added, "You can't leave people in quarantine and not meet the quarantine conditions. So we are living here, but the conditions are not put together as a center which should receive people who have been going through coronavirus disaster, because no materials are available, no thermometers and other tools which are important. They are not available in this center in Bandalungwa in Kinshasa." Let's go now to Nord-Kivu, where about more than 1,000 Burundian subjects are found in Goma since last Friday. 1,387 Burundian have been reported in Goma, Nord-Kivu since Friday, March 13th, 2020. They are all staying in Lake Green neighborhood in the community of Goma. They came to Goma for a prayer, prayer of remembrance in memory of the Busing massacres, which took place on 13th of March, period in which several Burundian civilians were killed in Burundi. One of those people told us, "We are here in the city of Goma for a prayer that we have always organized with the aim of remembering our brothers who were killed. It is a communication that we have always organized, and now it's a turn of Nord-Kivu province." The administrative and military authorities of Nord-Kivu went to the site to identify those newcomers. 4 Congolese among them are also said that they are coming from South Kivu, and they are here to accompany these pilgrims. According to the governor of the province of Nord-Kivu, Karli Nzanzu Kasivita, who visited the site, he reminded the Burundians that the DRC is not a dump and asked them to get in order with regard to migration standards and to respect the laws of the Democratic Republic of Congo. Pending the decision from Kinshasa or of Kinshasa, Kali Kasivita said he was ready to provide transportation for the return of these people to their port of entry, which is Kavivira border crossing in South Kivu, so that they could take other steps, especially since they say they are threatened in their home country by the Burundian government. In his capacity as a chief executive of North Kivu, Mr. Kasivita handed food and non-food items to these Burundian people while he's waiting for the central government to respond to this situation. According to the Congolese population, which lives in Goma, they have been saying that the presence of this Burundian subject would pose a threat to their security, and they have been asking for the authorities to repatriate them to their country. In recent months, several Burundian subjects have arrived in the city of Goma and in several corners of Nyiragongo territory. They are also have said to be at the root of several cases of insecurity in the city. Moreover, this presence provokes reactions throughout the country, in the political class as well as the civil society, as well as on the civil society side. The opposition is also concerned and goes a long way in calling them to be at the root of insecurity in North Kivu, especially in the city of Goma. Possibly these people are refugees, but there is also a procedure or a process to go through. If we are refugees, we should not just be a refugee and do whatever we want to do, whenever we want to do it without the support or intervention of the United Nations or again the host country. So things should be put in order. And I'm going to do a little bit of comment on this small portion of information about the arrival of Burundian later on today in Kiswahili and possibly in Lingala or French, possibly also in English. We'll see how it will go. So let's go to Uvira, where the lake Tanganyika has become a garbage, and that is a danger for the population. So Lake Tanganyika has been turned to a garbage, and that's the concern of people of Uvira in South Kivu. By lack of public dump, the inhabitants are obliged to throw their rubbish into the lake. And this is a serious issue, health issue, which is looming. Wastes, including clothing, plastics, households, are piled up on the shores of Lake Tanganyika or thrown into the water by local residents. They say they have no place to keep their rubbish. Because of the filth, beaches are almost non-existent. For their leisure time, the inhabitants of Uvira visit the beaches of Bujumbura. They have to cross the border, pay some fees in order to access the beaches in Bujumbura. A shortfall that money could benefit the city of Uvira. There is also a risk of diseases such as cholera and others. Kifara, the deputy mayor of Uvira, acknowledges these differences and promises that a solution is underway. The town hall or the city, the mayoral, that's it, the town hall has set itself the goal of transforming Uvira into a tourist town, provided that they are financial means. If money exists, that's good. If there is no money, then Uvira will do nothing about the whole situation. Let's talk about the dialogue that took place between the President Tshisekedi and the former President Kabila. They held a meeting on the 12th of March, decided to abolish the monitoring committee of FCC and cash agreements in order to consult directly each other and to appoint new emissaries. On 12th of March, Mr. Kabila visited Mr. Tshisekedi's house in Sele. He came by himself or he came alone, while Mr. Tshisekedi was surrounded by his chief of staff, Vital Kamerhe, and his special security advisor, Francois Bea. The final communique feels that a surprise, because Vital Kamerhe read it, and Vital Kamerhe normally doesn't take part in direct exchanges between the two authorities of the ruling coalition. And while he was reading this document, it shows that those who expect the breakup between Kabila and Kabila and Tshisekedi, they will be really left behind, because the two high personalities found that there was a real unease in the functioning of the coalition, mainly due to the misunderstandings, certain action which they called inappropriate, like inappropriate media outlet on both sides, and incident against FCC personalities at some border crossings. Therefore, by understanding the reading of Kamerhe of this document, it sounds like, those who have been expecting a breakdown, those who have been expecting a separation between Chilombo and Kabange, that may not take place. However, text can be interpreted in different ways, depending with who is the interpreter. Normally the text is mute. The text doesn't explain itself, but by reading it, you can have your interpretation, which may differ from mine. But by reading this text, you will find that there is not really much to say about the Congolese nation. However, the meeting lasted for 4 hours. During this meeting, Tshisekedi and Kabila decided to abolish the monitoring committee, as I've just said, with the aim of working together without any other person between. As they appointed the last time, the emissaries, John Mark Kabunde, Augustine Kabuya, and Emmanuel Ramazani. So this time, as they don't want to work again with those people, they will put them astray and they will decide by themselves in order to make the matters of the country to move forward. In cases they want to talk, they will consult each other and talk as two partners. The two have approved a cabinet reshuffle in less than 3 months that follow. Number of ministers will be reduced from 67 to 35 up to 50. And among the hot topics, the hot subject which we discussed, they touched also that issue of dissolution of the parliament, as Felix Tshisekedi proclaimed it in January 2020 during his meeting in London. However, we try to ask people their opinions, and the Congolese who were interviewed on the streets, they had different opinions. One of them said, I no longer believe in the dissolution of parliament, considering that what has been happening between these two men, these two leaders, both protect each other's interests. I don't see the interest of the Congolese people in all of this. And another one said, Both sides should work hand in hand for the well-being of the people of the Congo and not for their selfish interests. And another one added, anything can happen at any time because what they are doing is just politics, and politics is not static. Politics is dynamic. Things can change for any minute, at any minute. Tshisekedi can bring down Kabila, Kabila can bring down Tshisekedi. So let us see, surprises might tell us something more tomorrow. And for many people, this is really surprising, especially since Mr. Tshisekedi has inscribed the Kabila's clan in line with his fight against impunity. In addition, the situation is likely to disappoint the bishops of Cinco. Those bishops had called for an end between those two coalitions, CASH and FCC, saying that their relationship was unnatural. And they thought that alliance between CASH and FCC is not for the interest of the Congolese people. The United States has also, on their hand, said something, but to now, based on that meeting of Kabila and Tshisekedi, the United Nations hasn't commented yet. But in their last meeting, the President of the Republic, Tshisekedi, with the US Secretary of State, Mike Pompeo, meetings which lasted almost 12 minutes, Mr. Pompeo reiterated that his country, meaning the USA, is ready to support the President Tshisekedi in his fight against corruption. And if the United States has always targeted the people of Kabila or those who worked with Kabila in this war against corruption, there is no doubt that the outcome of their meeting, of Kabila and Tshisekedi's meeting, risk to tell the United States of America to shut their mouth down, if you want, or to shut up, you know. And this message is not only for the USA, it's for you, it's for me, it's for all of those who have been thinking, okay, their separation will bring our country to peace, to unity, and maybe to see ourselves moving forward. Once again, it's politics. Anything can happen at any time, and things might reflect something which will look completely different tomorrow. Moreover, Congolese are used to seeing their president, the new president, and the former president playing ping pong, you know, or yo-yo if you want. All last year, we could see the President Tshisekedi and Kabila will meet, they will discuss about something, and then suddenly a strange scenario will happen. Sometimes even those scenarios used to push or have been pushing the President Tshisekedi to contradict himself. For instance, in the USA, he said that he wanted to demolish Joseph Kabila's dictatorial system. And on his return home, he contradicted himself by saying that he wanted to do the coalition that will rule the country. And this new episode we are going through, I believe that there is no exception. Could the peace that seems to have been achieved at this time be sustained? And if yes, for how long? At the end of their meeting, the President Tshisekedi complained that the FCC was trying to block his good political initiatives. And for that one, Kabila replied by saying that his acts were just for a good self-defense. However, Professor Bolakonga criticized the meeting between the two presidents. And for Bolakonga, he's like, yeah, I'm not quite sure if President Tshisekedi was there as a president of the DRC or he was there just as a patron or the boss for the cash, while on the other hand, Kabila was there to represent FCC. Because if Tshisekedi was talking like the boss of the country, like the president of Congo, the meeting could end the way that it ended. The minutes that Kamere read to us couldn't be the same. But it sounded, according to him, it sounded like they were talking just like two people who are discussing about the interest of one political group and another coalition group on the other side. By the way, if we look at Kamere, I may ask myself, Kamere reading this text, was he reading it as the director or the chief of staff for the presidency? Was he reading it as a spokesperson or a rapporteur, maybe of a coalition, or was he just talking as a member of a cash, or again, was he representing Kabila? We don't know. What was the role of Kamere by reading this speech in front of the Congolese nation? Furthermore, for such a meeting, apart from the pro-domo interests of each of the clans involved, there is no indication, despite the 3.5 hours or 4 hours of the so-called friendly and fruitful discussions, that fundamental and vital issues of development or international economy or even public health, as the Congo has been going through the coronavirus now, nothing has been addressed in their meeting, which you can say that, something really important for the Congolese people was said. Instead, we were treated to a meeting that was akin to a meeting of maybe lions, as we say. After killing another animal, they try to see how they can share the meat. So it was just a matter of maybe a game, political game, which makes people to worry. And actually we start to realize that everything is politicized now. Even something like the electoral reform. While the electoral reform should be in the civilian context outside of politics. But they're doing it now politically. Otherwise, if it continues to be like that, the result of the coming elections, the result for the future elections will be at the mercy of manipulations. We all know who are the masters and we all know who are the agent or affiliates. Up to you now to pull the conclusion. This is what I wanted to share with you, and I have to stop there today, telling you that our Congo is one country, will continue to be one. If we love each other and we bring our contributions as children of the Congo, then we'll build our nation. May God bless the Congo. If this is your first time to watch our videos or to follow us, we'll ask you once again to subscribe. Go down there and then subscribe. Share our videos with friends, and don't forget to click on like. And for those who told me we should provide to you a bank account so that you can financially assist us, there is a bank account down here. Please note it down, write it somewhere down, and you can use it. If you don't use the bank account we provide, you can also write to us an email. Just down here, the email address is there, leonjoleo@gmail.com, and we'll reply to your email. Otherwise, you use our number, our WhatsApp number, and we can get in touch with you. We can exchange ideas. And from there, we can tell you how you can send the money to us. You may also use YouTube, because down here, wherever people make their comments, down there you'll see in gray color a sign of dollar. Click on that sign, and from there, you can also send your contribution to us. We will really appreciate it. Thank you for your invaluable support. It was the voice of Odon Bulamba. This is the end of our program today, and I hope to catch up with you again in coming days. May God bless you, and see you next time. Thank you and goodbye for now.